Gary Napa, and I'm the lead designer on Alien Isolation.
How much of a passion project is it for you guys doing an Alien game?
It's been absolutely huge, actually. I mean, this is the Alien game not only that we've always wanted to make, but we've always wanted to play. You know, a game where just one alien is a massive, massive threat and is absolutely terrifying. And you know, when you've seen him so often that he just gets inside your head, that every shadow you look at, you kind of project like, is that the alien? That kind of constant fear. Yeah, it's been massive.
How much research has gone into building the entire game? I mean, we've seen it in dev diaries and stuff, but is there anything beyond that? Is there stuff we've not been told about?
The level of detail the guys have gone into just creating the world and also the feel of the alien is absolutely huge. The artists have taken so much detail in the world, like learning all the different archetypes from like the science areas to the engineering and the hospital areas and stuff like that, and just really making it feel that every single component could have been on the set, and in many cases the parts they used were. I think it was great that we got such information from Fox, because we were able to see not only the measurements and the sketches of the sets, but the materials they were made of, so they could see how heavy they were and what they feel like and what the texture would be. And that went a massive, massive way to recreating the feel of the world. With the alien, it was the same sort of thing from a design point of view, where we needed this creature to feel like he could get to you at any point, he was smarter than you, he would adapt his behaviour to the things you were doing, and you kind of put those things together with some awesome lighting and sound, and you nailed it.
What about Seegson? They're a new company,
Seegson,
right?
Yeah.
Is that a company you guys created?
Yeah, Seegson is a creation of our writers team. The idea behind Seegson is they're a kind of competing company to Weyland-Yutani, and they're not quite as good. They're producing things that are very kind of basic and a bit budget in some ways, but their pitch is always, we're making the best stuff or the basic stuff. So when you see their androids, they're saying, we don't want androids who are going to look human, we want androids that you can identify and feel safe around working. Truth is, they're just not very good. And that's really helped us, because it's that kind of contrast to the big, expensive, all-powerful Weyland-Yutani. You've still got other companies in the universe that are just kind of struggling to get along.
Do you guys explain why we don't see anything of Seegson in the other movies?
Not really, because it's the part of space we focused on, and the part of our story would never really had an impact on that part of Alien. In the original film, it was just Weyland-Yutani as the corporation, working on the mining and working with the Nostromo. So there was not any really other locations or ships to deal with. I mean, they've kind of expanded it further on places like Happy's Hope and Aliens and things like that. But actually, the franchise has always been Weyland-Yutani. There are other companies mentioned if you go really, really into detail with some of the clothing brands and some of the cigarette brands and things like that. And if you're a massive fan of the franchise, you'll see some of that called out in the design. So I wouldn't say it's something that we've called out specifically, but it's definitely something you feel like could have been a part of the universe.
What are the origins of this particular alien? Will we learn that within the game? Presumably it's not the same one that Ripley blasted out the
I'm afraid that would be a huge spoiler.
Okay.
No, it's... part of the game is figuring out not only the alien's behaviour and how he adapts, but also the story and why you're there. We wanted to keep the story focused around just the fear of one alien. So the idea that you've gone there to find this black box is enough to get you there, and once you're there with the alien, that's your biggest concern. But you do find out more stuff about it.
A lot of concerns have been kind of thrown out there about how is this game going to be spun out into a full kind of 20-hour or whatever people expect from a single-player game nowadays. What are you guys doing about that kind of thing?
I think that's been as kind of an offshoot of the way we chose to show the game. We were so focused on this, single alien experience that when we first put it in people's hands, we just said, right, here's you, here's nothing else, here's the alien, here's a scary space, try and survive. And when we did that, people were like, this is amazing, the alien adapts so well, and they really reacted it to well. And then we're like, hang on a minute, how is this going to last? And we're like, okay, well, we'll take that. There's several things that you can do in the environment. There's several things you can learn. There's weapons you can find. There's things you can craft and build to defend yourself with, or even cause distractions. And on top of that, we have a lot of threats on the station. So we have humans, not all humans, some humans are good, some humans are bad, it feels more realistic. And we have synthetics, as we mentioned, made by Seegson. So when you take the kind of timeline of mechanics that the player can learn and the abilities you get, match that to the alien and how the alien adapts to the things you try, throw a couple of other AI types in there that are kind of reactive and dynamic, you get such a melting pot of mechanics and behaviours that's enough for a game like Timeline in itself. But actually, with the narrative and the story and the environment stuff in, we got plenty to play with.
How are you guys approaching replay value, like second playthroughs and so on?
It seems to me like I've heard someone say the multiplayer component of this game is the chat you have afterwards with your friend about it, because the game is so different the way depending on how you play it and what you've seen. We've had people play the announced demos and the other versions of the game we've made for them, where they've had such different experiences, they've wanted to go back in and play it again, because a guy said, oh, I walked down this corridor and the alien bust out of a cupboard and he came to kill me and there was this gas explosion, and someone was like, I didn't even see the alien for 20 minutes. And it's that case of if the humans are in the environment, depending on how you've played, depending on what's happened with the story, so many different things can happen, and it's all just emergent gameplay and systematic behaviours that's creating these moments. So I'd say there's a lot of replayability in not just dying and trying again, but starting an area from fresh.
In terms of being an Alien game as well, do you feel like it was a little bit of an uphill struggle to show people that you were serious about the game and it wasn't going to be another kind of disappointment?
I think people were very, very wary about another Alien game. And it almost helped us more, because we didn't say, here's a bunch of videos of what we're trying to do. We were very, very deliberate to say, and here's the pads, We're making an Alien game, there's only one alien in it, he's terrifying, have a go. And as soon as people pick up that pad and they play, or the mouse and keyboard, and they see there's not a gun on screen the whole time. And you pick up a pistol and there's one round in it, and you're like, okay, it's that sort of game, and it's so different to any other game we've seen from Alien in the last few years that as soon as people play it, the kind of questions disappear. I had one journalist say that he had a bunch of questions to write, and he finished playing the demo, and he went, I need to rewrite these to scrub them all out.
Nice.
We get to shut the book. Ripley.
Alien Isolation is coming out on the 7th of October. It's available on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3, Xbox One and Xbox 360, and PC. And today we also made a slight announcement that we've got the Oculus Rift version as a prototype available to play.
Wow.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah, I can imagine.